Hello everyone, welcome back to Turn 7. In today's video we're going to be covering cycle wings, the benefits of bonded versus bolted, and how to remove them and fit your own at home. Now this question was posed to us in one of our previous videos by Mr. Chris Davies, who was asking. Now there are a number of reasons why you might find yourself needing to fit your own cycle wings at home. The wings on Caterhams are generally made out of fiberglass. Some of us are lucky enough to have some carbon fibre thrown in there, which is a bit tougher, but they are quite exposed. It's easy to nudge them when you're squeezing them into a small space in your garage, and if nothing else, stones do flick off the tyres and create these little star crazes on the underside of the wings. You also tend to get that with bolted cycle wings. It's very easy to over tighten them, and over time you get these star cracks in. Now Caterham's tyre sizes have changed, which means that you may find if you've changed your tyres for a new model, your wheels simply don't fit under the wheel arches anymore, and that will mean replacing your wing stay. And to do that you'll have to remove a perfectly good wing from its existing wing stay, fit the new wing stay, and then reattach it. In today's video, we're going to show you how to remove a damaged bonded cycle wing and rebond a new wing. So if you have any questions at the end that we haven't covered in this video, do just drop them in the comments below and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. So here we are with a couple of cars with bolted cycle wings. Now, fun fact, Caterham must supply them this way initially for IVA reasons. More often than not, if you order a Caterham with bonded wings, you'll find that actually they go for their IVA with bolted wings, which Caterham calls slave wings, and then they replace them with nicely bonded ones afterwards. The real benefit to these is that you can be pretty assured that under no circumstances are they going to come off without pretty serious physical contact. You shouldn't have that issue with bonded wings either, but you need to make sure they're fitted properly. The downside to having your wings bolted is star crazing. If you look at this wing here, you can see that these bolts have perhaps been over tightened, and what it's led to is cracking in the fiberglass. So this is what we're going to need to do this job. Now we have power tools here, which is going to make our life a little bit easier, but here are the manual tools you need in case you're just doing it yourself at home. The most useful tool in this bunch is the cheese wire. Without that, it's really difficult to remove a well-bonded wing. This is the job that we're going to be doing. Clearly you can see that this bonded wing has suffered a bit of damage and has bowed at the side here as a result. So we're going to be swapping this out for a brand new wing. It's worth pointing out, this particular job, we don't have an indicator repeater. So before you remove the wing, make sure that you remove your indicator repeater. Just before we start, we're just going to take note of where this wing is positioned so that when we fit the new wing, we know where to put it back. And you do that by checking the distance between the wing stay underneath the front of the wing and the gap towards the edge of the front of the wing itself. So I'm going to do that using my hands because I've done a lot of them, but best grab a tape measure, make note of how far away it is, and then you can make sure it goes back in the right place. So just checking this distance here. When it comes to removing it, we're going to slide 1/2 of our cheese wire under the wing, just like that, and then we're just going to slowly scissor backwards and forwards as we cut through there, and then the back edge here. Now this wing will just pop straight off. The most important aspect of doing this job is the prep work, because if we don't do that properly, the bonding agent that we use to hold the wings into place isn't going to stay on. Here we need to clean up all the remaining sticker flex that was previously used to bond this wing on, and we're going to take a little bit off the powder coating so that the bonding agent can bond nicely to the metal. Now I've got this beautiful power tool here, which is going to quickly and easily give me the finish I want. I'm now just going to use a scalpel to just remove the last bits of the trim. And if you're not lucky enough to have a nice power tool at home that can buzz this off for you, then it is just a question of using a scalpel, some sandpaper and some patience. Again, the prep work here is absolutely key. So you really do need to have the patience to do this diligently and remove everything, because without that, you run the risk of the wing coming off at some point while you're driving, which isn't really ideal. This is the kind of finish that we're looking for before we bond our wing. Now, I know you might sit there and wonder, well, have I just exposed a load of metal to the elements, which is going to make it rust? And the answer is no. We're going to be completely sealing this. We've prepared our wing stay. Now we also need to prepare the underside of the new wheel arch that we're fitting. So you can see as a reference from the old wing exactly where it was bonded before. So what we're going to do is just rough up the underside so that the adhesive has something to bond onto. These often come with gel coating on the underside of them that can prevent the adhesive from making a good contact. So make sure you've got it on a nice soft surface that's not going to damage the underside of your wing. Take some sandpaper and just rough up that area. Now that we've prepped the underside of our wing and removed all the residual dust and cleaned it, I would always recommend doing a dry run before we fit the wing for good. So using that measurement you had at the front, just position the wing as per the front of the wing stay, and then sit back and look at it, because you may find that where you've positioned it, it's not covering the tyre properly. So then you're just shuffling it into position. Make sure you've got it exactly where you want it, just so that you know it's going to fit. Now for the adhesive. Now what we're using here is a Granville Poo Flex, and that's PU. You can also use hybrid seals, Evo sticks, Sticker Flex, anything that's designed to bond different materials together in a very heavy duty manner. First off, we're going to apply a thin line to the tops of both parts of the wing stay, just so that we can position the wing and have a little bit of movement, and then we're going to come underneath and bond it properly. Now you want to put a reasonable layer on here. Again, we're just going to sit the wing onto this, but it does need to take a reasonable tack, and as we push the wing on, it will spread this across the top curved surface. I'm obviously applying this to the back of this wing stay because this is the area that the wing's actually going to be resting on. So I'm going to use my reference point, which again I'm using as my fingers, and then what I do is I touch the end of my middle finger to the wing, and that's my reference based on where the wing sat on my hand, and then sit the wing down as we've positioned it. Now it will take a little while for this to stick hard, so once you've lined it up into the right position with the tyre, just apply a little bit of pressure on the top of the wing just to make sure that's starting to stick. At this point, try not to disturb the wing because we've now got our positioning, and what we're going to do next is jack the car up, take the wheel off, and we're going to apply more bonding agent around the underside. We're going to jack the car up and take the wheel off so that we can get to the underside. Now, if you're not sure how to jack your car up, if you just refer to our previous video, then we'll have full instructions for you there. As you remove your wheel, take extra care to make sure that you don't nudge the wing as you're removing it. Otherwise, we're going to lose our position, because we're not going to put the wheel back on until after we've finished applying the bonding agent. Now what we're going to do is we're going to apply a lot more of this sealant and just get it right into that edge. Again, being careful not to dislodge the wing. And then we're going to come around the front, fill the little void in the inside of the wing. In this case, we don't have any wires running through it, which you might have if you had a cycle wing repeater. There we go. And then the back. And once we've done that, we're just going to use our index finger, definitely put gloves on for this, just to slightly press this down and get a decent contact patch. Make sure it's been pushed into all of the little crevices. There we go, we get this nice, clean, smooth finish. And you will have some excess. It's okay, that's why we've got gloves on. Even getting this off your fingers isn't fun. There we go, and by doing that, we make sure that we cover every part of the wing stay which we've exposed to the elements. Got a really good seal on there. The really important thing now is to make sure that this wing is not touched for 24 hours. It will bond in two, but if you want to have that really safe stick that means it's not going to come off if you're on a track day doing 100 miles an hour, give it good time. But there you go. That's your guide to fitting a new replacement cycle wing. There are different circumstances that could be more complicated if you're not replacing one that was already bonded, if you're not fitting a new one and refitting an old one, or if you're having to do electronics in fitting a cycle ring repeater. But if you need any help with that, then do just contact us via the comments box below or via the email address on our website, and we'll come back to you as soon as we can. But for now, that's another Turn 7 video. We hope you found it helpful, and we'll see you again next time. So taking them off can be an... Sorry, you've distracted me.